Welcome back, everyone. Today we're gonna talk about Genesis 1, verse 20. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that has life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven." Day 5 begins with the creation of living beings, and the Zohar views this as a cosmic awakening, the entrance of soul, motion, and vitality into the lower worlds. What had previously been static, elemental realms, light, sky, land, and vegetation, now becomes animated. This is not only about biology, it is about the descent of divine life force into creation. The first phrase we have, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly." Waters as womb of soul. The Zohar sees water as symbolic of chesed, which is divine kindness, and flowing consciousness. In this verse, the waters act as a womb, a spiritual matrix from which life emerges. The phrase "bring forth abundantly" is related to swarming, teeming, a word tied to multiplicity, fecundity, and uncontainable life force. This represents the overwhelming of divine vitality, the Sheva, which is spiritual abundance, spilling into creation. Mystically, this is the point when souls begin to clothe themselves in form, as the upper light enters the lower worlds in motion and diversity. The moving creature that has life. This is the descent of Nefesh. The Zohar focuses on the Hebrew term Nefesh Chayah. In English means living soul or animated life force. Nefesh is the lowest level of soul in Kabbalah, the life energy that animates the body. On day 5, Nefesh first appears, marking the entry of soul into the fabric of physical creation. Water creatures represent the earliest receptacles for this life energy, fluid, intuitive, instinctual, and bound to their element. This introduces the idea that even the most basic forms of life are infused with divine sparks, a crucial Zoharic teaching that all creation is animated by divine breath. The next phrase we have, "and fowl that may fly above the earth." This is motion between worlds. The second part of the verse introduces birds who fly above the earth in the firmament of heaven. The Zohar draws deep meaning from this. Birds represent beings that bridge realms, earthbound in origin, yet capable of ascension. They symbolize the ruach level of soul, the emotional spirit, which rises higher than nefesh, but is still within duality. Birds fly through the firmament, the spiritual space where upper and lower realms meet. This suggests that birds carry the message of transcendence, communication, and the breath of between worlds. Just as fish live within the waters, which represents the inner world, and birds traverse above the earth, which is the expanded realm of perception. This verse introduces the vertical dimension of soul movement in the cosmos. The firmament revisited. This is a new layer of meaning. Previously, the firmament was the divider between upper and lower waters, which was in Genesis 1 verse 6 to 8. Now it becomes a domain of motion, flight, and praise. The Zohar links this moment to the heavenly beings and angelic forces, spiritual messengers who fly between divine realms. Birds thus also symbolize prophetic vision, song, and divine communication, especially in their use in Hebrew texts as metaphors for the soul's ascent, as in Shir Hashirim and Psalms. So the Kabbalistic mapping for the waters and heaven, soul and body. This verse also initiates the correspondence between creation and the four worlds. So the creation of fish, which is for the world section, is Asiyah, which represents action. In the Sephirah, it's under Yesod or Malkuth. At the soul level, the fish represents Nefesh, life force. And the fish symbolism is water, instinct, and flow. Now for the creation of birds, we can see in the world, this is as a formation in Yetzirah. And in the Sephirah tree of life, this is under Tiferet. And at the soul level, this is Ruach, which is the spirit and emotion. And the bird symbolize air, ascent, and sound. Water creatures represent the hidden, instinctive, submerged life forces beneath consciousness. Birds represent the expressive, ascending, communicative life hovering between realms, like prayer, song, and breath. So the Zoharic reflection, this is as multiplicity, as divine overflow. The Zohar views this burst of life, teeming waters and flying birds, as a symbol of divine abundance. Just as water overflows and cannot be contained, so too the divine will overflows into endless forms of creation. Life emerges not in singularity, but in diversity, reflecting the infinite faces of God manifest in the world. This is the first appearance of the many in living beings, anticipating the idea that the one expresses itself through the many. So Genesis 1 verse 20, through the lens of the Zohar, is a spiritual milestone, the entry of soul into creation. God commands the waters, symbolic of flowing divine kindness and unconscious potential, to teem with life. This marks the first appearance of Nefesh, the animating life force that breathes divine vitality into the physical world. The fish, born from the waters, represent beings who dwell in the hidden flow of instinct and inner spiritual current. The birds, in contrast, are born from earth but fly through the heavens, becoming bridges between realms, symbolic of Ruach, the spirit that rises in praise, communication, and ascent. This verse also reactivates the meaning of the firmament, no longer just a divider, but now a space of movement and flight. It becomes a symbol of the interface between worlds, where the soul begins its upward journey. Ultimately, the Zohar sees this verse as the awakening of multiplicity, the abundant overflowing of divine energy into diverse forms of life. All motion, all soul, all being now begin to stir. The world, once quiet, begins to breathe, swim, and sing. That's it for today. Thank you very much for your donation. Be blessed, everyone, and I will see you on the next episode.